Hello, I love to make today the cake, spongebob cake. It is one of my favorite characters. And what basically we use is if you have a smaller birthday party or the smaller celebration, use one of those rectangular smaller baking tins, which is the enough one cake mix. But if you do using 4 large just like this one, you need the larger rectangular baking tin, and you do need 2 of chocolate cake mixes, so you can use this one for 1 or larger one for 2. So once you mix and bake according to instruction on the box of cake, it's cooled, and it's once it's baked and cooled, we just level top and place it on a cake board just to make sure it's nice and flat. So what we do is here, I thought that I will not actually cut in a shape, because it probably would be difficult to make in little tiny SpongeBob legs. So what we do is I will use dark chocolate frosting. Of course, you can use any frosting as well as any cake of your choice. Let's apply frosting all around our cake. Once you finish apply chocolate frosting, what we do is we use in 1 box of ready to roll icing, or use fondant, of course. And what we do, we sprinkle our working surface with a powdered icing sugar, and what we do is roll it, and roll it to make sure it's bigger in size than your cake, as well as apply icing sugar time to time to prevent sticking. So what we do is, once it's bigger than in size of your cake, what we do is we simply transfer it on top and start working right from the top of our cake. Apply a little bit of icing sugar on your hand, and here we are. So let's trim it now. We'll get rid of the bigger parts first, then bring up a little bit closer, and we trim it closer to the cake. Once you finish with trim away all the ready to roll icing or fondant, what you do is, if you have some favorite picture of SpongeBob, print it from internet, the larger one, and you have like a template for yourself, as well as you can follow patterns, which is you can always look at as in front of you, or you can print my picture, really, if you really like it, this sort of picture. Okay, what we do is we can use a toothpick. I use it sometimes, but when I want it soft kind of outlining and patterns, I use a back of a back of a brush, which is not very pointy, nice and soft. So what we do in this particular cake, we outline in SpongeBob the all patterns and everything according to image you really like. This image, which is I have, is just a SpongeBob kind of standing sideways. So what you do is, for the eyes, use 58 millimeters or 2¼ inch cookie cutter, and place it right here to make it 2 eyes. For the pupils, use the tips. This one 1.5 the centimeter, and you have a nice and round the eyes. And for little tiny pupils, we use how much is 0.5, half a centimeter, just inside So you have good patterns of a SpongeBob eyes. So what you do is there, according to your picture or design, where is whatever you wanted to do of SpongeBob, draw. Of course, we cannot be without SpongeBob teeth. It's very happy character, and SpongeBob you can watch practically anytime. Now, what we have is, once you finish with everything, I like to bring up closer. Hopefully, I'm not quite sure. Might be light. Don't let me. Actually, let's have a look. Here you can see a little bit SpongeBob and the patterns we done. It's just to make sure you're able to actually see it. So what we do is next, we can use a packet of food edible decorating paint, or we can use different liquid food coloring according, of course, the patterns of SpongeBob, or we can use gel food coloring. It all depends on you. It all depends which one would you prefer and what you have at your home. So what we do is here, I started simple from small patterns, which is just sleeves of SpongeBob, and because I can see my patterns very well, so what we have here, we need to do eyes definitely. Nice and steady. And we continue with patterns everywhere. As you can see, we've done all patterns of the SpongeBob. Here they are. We just use a black edible food decorating pen, which is much easier. If you purchase one of those, it lasts very long time and they're quite cheap too. So once you have all these patterns are done, as you can see here, SpongeBob and this his face and everything is done. So next is we have a I'm sorry, it's actually open. Just give me 1 second, I clean up first. Here we are. I just clean up a little bit. It's not really a big deal because we actually will be color with a blue liquid mixed with a white gel, and we'll represent here as a basically sea with this very sour SpongeBob. But I'm sorry, SpongeBob, I just spilling this stuff not in the right place, isn't it? Alright, now what we do is we apply yellow liquid food coloring on all areas of a SpongeBob which is need to be colored. Do not worry about patterns of these little tiny circles of the SpongeBob, because you can color them in as well, because we will mix with a little bit green liquid food coloring on top of it to make it a little bit darker and look like SpongeBob patterns. But this part, it's alright. It's not really a big deal, because once we color with the blue liquid food coloring, we will be not make it like really strong sort of blue. We will make a very light sort of kind of effect. So what we do is here, once we finish with all yellow, we will place tiny bit of the green and mix it together into darker shades. For the pens of a SpongeBob, we will use brown liquid food coloring, and for the food we will use black liquid food coloring. Let's proceed and finish. As you can see, we color with the yellow and the blue and the black for the shoes. So what we do is next, take one of those brown edible food decorating pen and just run right everywhere around the pattern to just a little bit sort of stand the actual more SpongeBob, obviously. So what we do is take green liquid food color and place a little bit on your plate and draw these little patterns of SpongeBob on top. I just want to show one. See, I'll continue later. So, and what we do is here we're using brown liquid food coloring, and we color paints of SpongeBob. Just right everywhere, right here. As you can see now, we finish basically our SpongeBob. Let me have a look. Maybe I just bring up a bit closer. I'll just try lift myself up, make sure you're able to see. And as you can see here, our SpongeBob square pants. And I hope you do like this sort of cake and image. Everything will be in the description box. Any question, please do ask. And if you like to have a go and make a cake like that, good idea to print it. Image of a SpongeBob, make sure in front of you has something to look at. And well, thank you very much for your time with me today. I hope you like it. Until next time, goodbye. And we finish with blue liquid food coloring a round cake.